Hello, hello, and welcome. We are once again back inside the Sister Sense Sunday Circle. This is our opportunity as a community to discuss the things that you can intentionally do to move forward with momentum. It's your girl, LaShonda Henry here, aka Sister Sense, and what I'm going to do is to kind of walk you through the agenda of what we do in every Sunday circle, right? And then kick off the conversation of what I want you to focus on today, okay? So, first and foremost, the Sunday circle is all about getting it together, all the way together, making sure that when you leave here, you are clear about what you want to do and what you're going to do moving forward. So getting clear, getting a plan, getting organized, that's the main agenda, number one. Number two, kind of working on several core areas that can help you get practical when it comes to mapping out a plan, right? So I'm all about sharing profit and progress plans for my entrepreneurial business besties. So working on strategically what you plan to do when it comes to your revenue, reach, and routines, I call that the R factor, on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. So when we kick off the Sunday Circle, my goal is that you're identifying what you're going to do today, what you're going to work on in the coming week, what your objective is for the month. So just to kind of give you a sense of, hopefully you have a notebook or you're in a Google Doc, what I want you to structure, frame for yourself moving forward, especially if you feel like you're frazzled, you're frustrated, all over the place, and you really need to get clear about what you want to do from here, okay? So being able to, number one, have what I call the TP3, top 3 priority tasks for today, this coming week, this coming month, okay? When we think about our goals, the short term is the now, but the long term for me is the next. What are you moving towards? So I've been talking about working on what I call your 100, making a list strategically of 100 things, big and small, that you want to do this year. Being able to include things that you've accomplished thus far, that's a great momentum booster. And then, of course, make note of those things that you want to get to as you move through the calendar year, right? So working on your 100, number one, your R factor, number two, as I said, when it comes to your digital business, your revenue, your reach, your routines, what you're trying to accomplish. Also, with respect to the R factor, what you need to do to make this thing work for you. Some people need to reconnect with their vision, reconnect with certain people, reconnect with projects that you kind of put by the side. Some people need to work on refreshing their content or revving up their efforts. These are some of the things that, again, I want you to be able to take the time as we are together, number one, or number two, set aside some time for you today and the next couple of days to work on your R factor, okay? Because the reality is, I always like to tell folks that life is going to life. There's always something that's going to go on. Possibly some things might go wrong. But in order for you to really commit yourself to what exactly you're trying to do, your purpose, your passion, your business, you've got to be able to set aside this quiet time, whether it be with me, your accountability partner, your team, yourself, to figure out what you're going to do to move forward. So hopefully by the end of today, you'll have some wins, whether it be as part of this experience or just in general, that you can identify, you can pull some motivation and inspiration from and share with us in the community over at firestarters.sistersense.com too. Okay, those are just a couple of things that I want to do for you and talk about with you. Good morning, Liana. I see you guys coming on in here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, okay, number one, that is our agenda for today, okay? Let's continue with the STs that I want to share with you, okay? So the ST of it all, startup steps and statements. I believe that all of us need to start something somehow right now. And what I've done is put together kind of what I believe is a staple list of different types of startup steps, internal conversations, statements, personal revelations that each of us needs to work on. Now, you may find that several of these resonates with you, but to be honest with you, I'm looking for one startup step, start statement that is really going to help you move the needle of what it is that you're trying to accomplish in your life and in your business right now. So I'm going to walk through your start statements. I'm going to talk to you about how you can check in with yourself and your business, and then we are going to have an opportunity for you to kind of reflect and ask questions, okay? So there's quite a few things that we're going to get to, okay? Now, first thing, there is some start statement here that somebody needs to hear because playtime is over. This is your opportunity to get serious and gut check you. Because the reality is, we all know that everybody got their own situations going on right now, right? And the reality is that as adults, we already know nobody is going to save you, nobody's going to wait for you, nobody's going to do any of this stuff for you or even tell you what to do without you taking control of your situation. So I want you to take control now by identifying, you probably already saw one. If you saw one, you feel free to drop into the chat. Identifying one START statement that resonates with you. First one here is to start your startup. Somebody needs to hear that it's time, right? To get all of those notes and ideas and journaling, all of that, out of your mind, out of your notebook, and actually start the startup, number one. Start with the end in mind, number two. Like I said, not all of these will specifically resonate or relate to you, but there's probably one thing here that you need to really dig into. Starting with the end in mind means being able to have a vision of what you want the end result, the end goal to be, and then reverse engineer the process to actualize your success. I love to do that when it comes to the last day of the year. Visualizing where I want to be, who I want to be, what I want to have accomplished at that point, and then work on, well, what are the steps I need to take to be that girl, right? So reverse engineer for me, starting with the end in mind. There are several things that you can do to do that, but I just mentioned one thing in particular, which is that 100 list. Being able to identify 100 things that you want to accomplish in your life, in your business by the end of the year, and work on that list, right? I always say distractions are everywhere, beware. We are all going to, at one point in time, feel pulled in one direction or another. We're all going to always feel distracted at some point. I energetically believe it's usually the point where you want to focus the most. And that's the thing. Sometimes people will find that when they're really committed to something and everything blows up, it's the universe telling them they shouldn't do that thing. But to be honest with you, it's the energies trying to prevent you from doing the exact thing that you need to do. Because me personally, when I am procrastinating and Netflixing and chilling, nothing happens. I am, by all accounts, doing exactly what the negative forces want me to do, which is nothing. It's when you are really motivated and committed to accomplishing what it is that you're trying to do, it feels like everything is breaking simultaneously around you, right? So you've got to be able to create a list of sorts that you can stick to that's going to help you when you feel like those distractions are everywhere, right? So start your startup. That message is for somebody, number one. Start with the end in mind, message number two. Hey, Faye, I see you checking in. Good morning, good morning, good morning. As part of today's Sunday Circle, like I said, the first thing that I want you to do is identify a start statement here that really resonates with you, at least one. One of my favorites, number three, start where you are. Somebody is wanting to start, but in the gut pit of their heart, they feel they can't start because they're not as polished as, not as professional as, not as established as. They don't have the budget. They don't have the team. They don't. Start where you are. Work with what you have. The only way to actually move forward is pretty basic. If I want to get from where I am right now to my car, I have to move 1 foot in front of the other, one step at a time. Somebody needs to remind themselves, start where you are. Finish what you start. This one is on my heart. Again, I said there are several start statements here. I would love to know which ones resonate with you. The big one for me, baby, finish what you start, right? I am the kind of girl that has an idea a minute. We try to clean it up, right? We call multi-passionate. I always got 15 things going on, right? And so being in a space where I say, you know what, LaShonda, I always try to remember to remind myself, what are the TP3? What are your top priority 3 things that you need to complete now? Finish what you start. I always tell y'all, entrepreneurs, because we are so amazing at coming up with ideas, right? Great at starting, not so great at finishing. So somebody needs to hear, finish what you start. Start fresh. Start fresh, right? We are at an interesting time of the year, right? This is a time of the year when it gets hot, when it's about vacations, it's about what do I do with the kids, they're off from school, and things slow down, right? In some ways, right? I always love to say when the kids go back to school, it's time to get back to business. Some folks need a opportunity to start fresh. This is a time of year that I actually talked about my Fresh Start program, just to kind of get back into the swing of things and move forward. Start something new. I love this. This actually reminds me of a movie that I watched several years ago called Something New, right? And sometimes that is exactly what you need to do, right? To kind of get out of the monotony of nothing changes but the day. You doing what you always do, being around the same people you're always around. I love to say that 2 things. Number 1, nothing changes if nothing changes. And number 2, you can change the people around you or change the people around you. In other words, if you're not making some sort of impactful way to motivate people around you to be better and strive for more like you're striving for more, it's time to change those folks, right? That circle that's around you so that you're surrounding yourself with people who want to elevate, progress, and move forward just like you. So for some people, starting something new is exactly what you need to do. Good morning, Antoinette. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Now, we are kicking off today's Sunday Circle conversation with the Startup Steps and Statements activity. Basically, in order for us to snap back into our best selves, I want you to identify one START statement that really, really resonates with you. I said mine's is finish what you start. I got several things that I said my goal was to complete XYZ this month. I'm committed to these things, and so let's finish what you start, LaShonda. Let's make it happen, right? I this weekend launched two things, my Monetize Now program and my Writers Resources Hub. There's so many pieces to Monetize Now that have been sitting on my heart, in my mind for months, and being able to move the needle on that project, whew. There are several pieces of that project, by the way, that were telling me not to do it now because I was like, ooh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And I said, stop, because you're going to take however many months, 6, 8 months that it's taken you to get here and turn it into 8 months later because you got to do this, you got to do. LaShawn, what's number 2? Number 3, start where you are. You've done a lot at this point. So it's time for you to start where you are. It's time for you to start that startup and move forward, right? Monetize Now is actually an offer that I'm working on cultivating for the new year, a premium high-ticket offer that is going to be at minimum $2,500, right? Side note, because we talk about all different things inside of the Sunday Circle, working on your final quarter Black Friday sales, working on your New Year offers, certainly something you should do, right? Because you always want to be ahead of the game. You want to be ahead of you. You can't just simply sit and work on what's in front of you. You've got to be able to start with the end in mind, right? You got to be able to be in a place where you envision where you want to be, what you want to see, and in order to get there, you've got to prepare, right? So I have something called the Revenue Roadmap, and it's broken up into several parts. Number 1, just kind of strategically working on the revenue goals that you have for yourself on a month-by-month basis. Number 2, the 10K Revenue Roadmap, working on a goal of generating at least 10K over the course of 30 days. And number 3 for me is working on the Revenue Roadmap privately with my Insider Circle clients, which is something that I've been doing this year, right? Now, for me specifically, when it comes to high-ticket offers, I have offers that are on the high end, anywhere between $3,000 to $10,000 is kind of where I cap myself. But the higher I tend to go capping my offers at 10K right now, they're usually the all of me offers. Like, there are folks that for 10K, they'll talk to you for 2 hours. I do everything for 10K. I call it holistic, but baby, it's the in-person, it's the virtual, it's the services, it's the everything offer for me, right? So I'm working on cultivating, number 1, an offer like Monetize Now, where at $2,500, it only takes 4 sales to get to 10K, right? And it's more hands-off, less hands-on, easier for me to hit higher level 5-figure goals as far as month-by-month goals, and creating offers that, again, are not capped by I have to only do work with so many people because I can't stretch myself thin and do physical stuff for each of these people, kind of a thing. So I say that to say this. On some level, some of you need to start something new. Like, I'm 44. I said, listen, I need to retire with my millions by my 50th birthday, okay? And I need to make sure that I'm not just staying where I am because it's comfortable. I'm doing what I need to do to move into that next season. You see here, start a new chapter. Who needs to start a new chapter or prepare for the new chapter that you want to start? Now, here's the only STOP that you're going to see on this start statements list, and it is stop starting over. Because real talk, while there are certain things that you need to start, for somebody, I ain't going to say everybody, but for somebody, you have to stop starting over. When I say that, I mean I've seen several people throw everything out, the baby and the bathwater, start from scratch. New business, new website, new list, and then delete everything. thing, things that you worked on for years, things that you put $5, $10, $15, $20,000 in, things that have been, cultivated. I was watching this man, and he wrote several articles, right? And so he was talking about how he worked with several noteworthy publications like maybe 10, 15 years ago. Those articles are no longer available on those publication websites, but he was showing how he's building an archive of those articles so that if people want to find them and or he wants to showcase his credibility, he can do that, right, with those backdated articles. This month we're talking about writing and article marketing, which is why that was something that was interesting to me, okay? But some of you don't have a digital footprint. Some of you don't have a legacy. Not that you haven't done things, invested in you, but you are always starting over. You put 5 months into a program that you never launch, a year into a book that's sitting there. Stop starting over and start building on what you've already built. Start going back to the drawing board. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, each of these are slight variations on the word start. And for some people, it might be time for a fresh start. It might be time for a new chapter. But doing those things doesn't mean deleting everything. Sometimes folks are just like, listen, I got to cut the hair off. I got to cut the people off. I got to cut the location. I got to cut it all off. Cut it all off. But again, we don't look at trees as amazing, as tall, as touch the sky, beautiful as they are, and see them in their infancy state. We see them as these larger-than-life beings that overtake our planet. You can't be a larger-than-life being if all you always are is a seed, is a few leaves, is a bush. The trunks have to grow. And when you cut a tree, you see all them rings. Them rings come with time. Some people got to remind themselves to stop starting over, right? Start with the step. Some people are overwhelmed. I know for myself, I'm good at what I do in my business. I'm not that great of a cleaner. So it's very easy for me to get into a cluttered room and get overly anxious. And one of the ways I combat that, to be honest with you, is to start with the step. Because if you're paralyzed and you do nothing, nothing changes if nothing changes. So I'd be like, okay, LaShonda, here's what we're going to do. We're going to tackle that corner. Or we're going to pick up these 3 things right here. And even if I don't know all the parts of the process, starting, things become clearer in the process of the first couple of steps. Sometimes people want to ask somebody or everybody to give them a roadmap so that they don't make mistakes. Sometimes people want to see the forest for the trees, the big picture, and everything so that they can walk in perfection. And to be honest with you, perfection to me comes through the process of action. So somebody needs to know that to grow, you have to start with a step. Now, like I said, I am, number one, trying to go through several START statements that I believe as humans, as multi-passionate people, as entrepreneurs, each trying to get to our next best level. At least one of these might resonate with you. Stop starting over. Start with a step. Perhaps start something new. Start a new chapter. So my son is getting older, and right now he's still in high school, but this summer he has taken art classes at ECU, number one, and this year going into high school, he's taking a business class at Burford County, number one. So he got his ID. His regular high school does not do IDs, but he got the Beaufort County ID, and it's pretty cool. It's a new chapter for him, right? So we're literally last night, he finished up. He's got to do 60 hours of driving. And we've been doing that all year so that he can get his driver's license, right? So it was like, congratulations. He finished his 60-day hours, and he's got maybe like 50 minutes left of his nighttime hours. So we're talking about college. We're talking about getting him a car. We're talking about, good God, now that you're done, baby, I'm going to Florida so I can sit on the beach with my mama. You know, when you got a kid, you got to, their life is your life, right? I'm ready for my new chapter. I'm ready for my $50 million retirement. I'm ready to spend half of my year in Florida, if not Jamaica. I'm ready to start that new chapter now. I got a couple more years. Got to get him in college and all the things. But starting a new chapter, right? Perhaps starting the conversation. Some of you have conversations that you're afraid to have with yourself, with your spouse, with people that you know can help you grow, but you are scared. I'm about to have a conversation on Tuesday that scares the hell out of me. But there's somebody I know who can strategically help me go further as far as the vision that I have right now. And so we need to talk. I had a rough conversation with my doctor. Okay, I was putting that conversation off since, May. I was like, I got to cancel that appointment. Yeah, no. Start the conversation. Number one, our personal bleeds into our professional. We all should know that, right? But number two, there are things that matter to you that you can't move forward because you're not having conversations or honest conversations with yourself or the people that you need to. Last one here, start now, start today. One of my favorite challenges of all the many challenges that I've created is called the Commit Challenge, right? And I always say it's not about starting on Monday or Sunday or the first of the month. It's starting today. Can you identify something that you say, I'm going to start now, start today? Now, it's Sunday, so, I got to get on my soapbox for a little minute. Get on my soapbox for a little minute with you. But hopefully this conversation has given you an opportunity to slightly reset in your mind and in your heart, especially if you feel like several weeks, several months, several things have perhaps taken you off track or made it harder or take longer to get where you want to be. The reality for me is delayed but not denied. I believe that there are certain things that I wish I had done or had gotten to by this point, but baby, delayed but not denied. As long as I got breath in me, I can still move forward, and so can you. So, any of these STR statements resonate with you, please feel free to drop them into the chat for me, okay? You are speaking to me. Thank you. I'm starting where I am now. I love that. I love that. I want to be able to speak to each of us, myself included, because like I said, mine is finish what you start, because, our kids get this from everybody. Their teachers, their counselors, from us, from good friends, not all the friends, but, good friends that'll keep it real and help them move forward. They get the guidance that they need. It stops at some point with us. Either we get people who tell us what we want to hear, people who only care about us so far as much as we can do for them, but getting people to really proactively pour into us and help us grow, stay in the know, be mindful. It's not easy the older we get in the process. So hopefully this conversation is a good reset for you, number one. Number two, what I want to do is to wrap up this Sunday Circle session with a check-up, check-in, because we've got a lot to do today, okay? In addition to the Sunday Circle, I have this weekend been working on the Writers Accountability Circle. So as soon as I wrap up this session, I'm going to do a full content creation session for those of you who want to hang tight with me. But before we get there, we're going to wrap up this one here with a check-up, check-in. Check-up, check-in. The words and the motivation, the inspiration, the start now, start today, that's okay. But that can only take you but so far. We have to go from the idea to the action. In order to get there, you have to be clear about the specifics that you want to do. So, number one on this list is the top priority 3 tasks. Your TP3s. Are you clear about your TP3s? What exactly is on your top priority list for today? Now, these are personal reflective questions, but if you feel free, you want to drop something in the chat and share that with me, feel free to do so. What are some things that you know you want to do today, this week, or this month? It's not just about the feeling of, woo, girl, that hit. You got to hit it. You got to move. You got to take action. What do you need to do today, this week, this month? Number one. Number two, in order to propel you forward, I've got 2 micro activities for you. Number one is take this energy that we have right now, use it to keep going for 30 minutes, 3 hours, working on your vision. Take the momentum. I always like to say that there are several LaShondas. Maybe it's because I'm a Gemini, you know, like Geminis have multiple humans inside of them. There's me, LaShonda, and then there's the internal me, Shalonda, and I talk to her a lot. Me, LaShonda, and Shalonda, we're like 2 peas in a pod, like for real. If you see me laughing in my car sometimes, it's because me and Shalonda, we kikiing, okay? So that's just what it is, number one. Number two, I have the future LaShonda, right? And I can't predict sometimes what she's going to be thinking and how she's going to be feeling. So a lot of times I say when I have my high energy, do something today that your future self will thank you for. So I am manic on some level. I know that. Sometimes I got high days, and sometimes I got some low days. And when I am high, I try to do the most so that my future self, if she's feeling defeated, depleted, distracted, or whatever, I've done some things to make sure that she's set up for success, even when she just needs to take a break and do nothing. Because sometimes doing nothing is exactly the thing that you need to do. But us being go, living in the country that we live in, a lot of times we are programmed to go even when we don't want to go, or our bodies are screaming to us that we shouldn't. So when I do take breaks, I can do so slightly unapologetically, not completely, because sometimes we feel that little, oh my God, there's so many things I need to do, but God, I need to take this break, whether I want to or not, right? Doing some things that help me propel forward. One way to do that is just to take advantage of the high energy moment, if you have one, for you to strategically, 30 minutes to an hour, figure out what you want to do, or even get some things in the right positioning to help you move forward. That's Propel Project. Profit projects. There are a lot of things that I try to strive to do within the community, and one thing is to show up. I'm like, listen, I show up every week for y'all, so you need to show up for yourself. Okay, I'm not here showing up for me. I'm showing up for you. When it comes to showing up for you, there are several profit projects that I'm working on right now. Number one, digital products. So creating a space for you to really work on your digital products. Last year, this time, we worked on the Fresh Start program, and I talked about creating $7 solutions, how you can work on creating one of those digital product offers. We will be jump-starting Fresh Start once again. That's coming up. Passive income. When I am not feeling my best and I need a break, one of the ways I can do that unapologetically is because I have developed passive income streams. I actually am going to be releasing several growth hacks. And one of the things I will say is that myself and many entrepreneurs may find that the summer is not our friend as far as being a slow season, especially if you're B2B and a lot of your clients are going on vacation and working with, their kids and they're distracted. B2B sometimes gets slow, right? And there were several things that I did to ensure that that was not the case for me, and I actually did really well this summer, right? But a big part of that is, for me, passive income streams. Because when you have that, you don't have to go, oh my gosh, but my sales slow down right now, or you have some sort of predictability and sustainability that can help you. PLR, that's something that I am tapping into in respect to really giving people an opportunity to create win-win experiences for each other. I say that to mean this. I love doing many things. One of them is designing, love creating templates, and I have a lot of entrepreneurs who work with other entrepreneurs. So I have created a template hub that I can give you, and then you can sell my templates. So you don't have to create them from scratch, and you get a bundle that if you work with writers, coaches, solopreneurs, and business owners, right? And they want templates. They want stuff that they could put together and sell, or web pages that they could set up inside of Canva. And you would love to have something to enhance your business, PLR, profits, right? And print. I'm always about creating not just digital but physical, so producing new print-on-demand products and sharing that with my audience, but other audiences as well. This year, I had the opportunity to speak to thousands of entrepreneurs through the Low Ticket Live Summit, which was so much fun. And I talked about digital self-publishing, specifically publishing, self-publishing, publishing magazines, number one. And number two, I have several new projects that I've worked on this year, helping people create card decks, physical card decks. And I just launched the new cookbook template, print cookbook template. So print projects, digital product projects, passive income projects, PLR profits. These are some of the projects that we're working on inside of the community. And if any of these is right on time with what you're trying to accomplish, definitely feel free to check in with me and I'll point you in the right direction. You can also take a look at the Monetize Now program at sistasense.com/programs with an S, sistasense.com/programs. Monetize Now is basically all of these programs that I just talked about in one combined program to give you a nice suite of the different profit projects that you can tap into. PLR profits, position to profits, print your profits, profits plus all of it, and progress. I always say, as I wrap up, take this opportunity to share a progress report with me. Whether you're listening live or on the replay side, email me, sistasense@gmail.com. Create a progress report, review it, send it to me, and let's work on intentionally moving forward. At the very least, you taking 5, 10, 15 minutes to sit down and write a progress report before it even gets to me is beneficial to you, because you get to stop all the things and just sit down and get quiet about what is going on with you. And then being able to send that to somebody, right, who is there in your corner, committed to checking in with you, supporting you, aka me, right? That's what I want you to do. So taking this opportunity to check up and check in, identify your priority tasks, take this high energy opportunity, if you're feeling energized from this conversation, to carve out time today within the next couple of days, 30 minutes to 3 hours, working on small projects to help propel you forward. Again, if you are interested in working on more or better digital products, passive income, PLR profits, or print published projects, say that 3 times fast, definitely reach out to me and or review the Monetize Now program to really take advantage of those profit projects. Like I said, Monetize Now will be at very minimum $2,500 when I officially share it with the world. Right now, I'm calling it a Build With Me program, because those who invest in it at a significant reduced rate, like a fraction of the cost, I'm like, this is crazy. How do you take something that is like $2,500 and drop it down to like less than $300? Well, I'm building it, and so people who are in it now get to build it with me, get to say, ooh, I like this. Ooh, can you add that? And then I'm launching it full force next year, right, as my new high-ticket premium offer. So working on profit projects with me on your own, getting clear about what you want to launch next year. High ticket offers, passive product offers. Do you want to work on your New Year offers, your Black Friday end of year offers? This is where your head needs to be at, right? If you plan on moving forward with what I like to call strategy and intention. 11/11. It's officially 11/11. Quick screenshot of that, okay? Hey, Katoya. Blessings to you, my dear. Big hug. Big, big, big hug to you. I was actually thinking about you as I was working on some new templates. I definitely need a progress report from you, Katoya. Definitely. Again, big hugs to you and your family. Working on commitment, right? Either you start or you keep going. Hopefully you have identified one thing, something that you're going to commit yourself to over the course of a 30-day period. That is what the Commit Challenge is all about. At the heart of the Commit Challenge, the goal is to identify one thing that you do every day for 30 days, but I know that for some people that's not a possibility. So even if you could do that thing, not necessarily every day for 30 days, but in some way, maybe once a week, to intentionally commit yourself to something you're trying to accomplish. That is what the Commit Challenge is all about. And so to wrap up this session, before we go into today's content creation session, I'm excited, y'all. We've got a full, this month is inspired by Commit, by the way. Writing has been the same. I've been doing a full month writer's circle. So we're going to do a writing content creation session as soon as I wrap up this session in, I would say, the next 5 to 10 minutes. But before I do, I want to power pause and give you the opportunity to do two things. Number one, prep your plans in a notebook, in a document, just based on things that we've said, that I've said to you over the last hour. Figure out what you need and or want. And of course, I always like to say, get your ASK, get your ask in gear while I am literally here with you. Any questions you want to ask, whether it be specific to what we've covered or honestly anything, to be honest with you, feel free to, so that you have an opportunity to get some support moving forward. I always say, those of you listening on the replay side, that includes you. You can always email me, sistersense@gmail.com, or while you're on the sistersense.com website, click the gray tab on the right to send me a voice message, okay? So 5 minutes on the clock. Identify your priority tasks, what you want to accomplish today, this week, this month. Think about if you need to carve out maybe 30 minutes to 3 hours today, or at least in the next couple of days, to keep mapping out what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Identify what you want to commit yourself to. And the big of today's session that I wanted to share with you was to start. Think about, listen to, really get to the, I would say, like, to the heart of your heart. Like really and honestly, what START statement here really is your statement right now. Feel free to screenshot this, by the way, if you need to come back to it. Like I said, for me, it's finish what you start. What start step statement is your motivation to do what you need to do right now, today? So 5 minutes. I'm going to be quiet so you guys can think, reflect, and even drop questions or comments into the chat. Then we'll come back, wrap up, and move into the content creation session that I have for you coming up next. Alrighty, so we are wrapping up two things. That quick 5-minute power pause, number one, and this Sunday Circle session, number two. If you have any final questions or comments, hopefully you can drop those into the chat now, and I'll take a look in a second, number one. Number two, we are going to jump right into the Article Marketing Marathon Content Creation Session Part 2 in a minute. Love creating content. I always say a Sunday well spent brings a week full of content. So hopefully you guys are excited about that coming up next. I always like to have pop-up content creation sessions on a month-by-month basis. So If you are now here live or on the replay side and you want a specific kind of content creation session, I would love to know out of curiosity. You can email me, you can, start a chat with me, whatever. Tell me right now in the chat box if there is a specific type of content creation session you would like. We've been doing several sessions on writing this month, and last month I did quite a few sessions on Canva for beginners. And Afi and I were talking about some cool Canva features and doing a session on that coming up next. So I would love to know what content creation sessions you would like to see, number one. And number two, hopefully you are toes down actively in the community, but if not, you have the opportunity to join the official Sister Sense Circle. At least try it out to see if it's a good fit for you. Simply go over to sistersense.com/trial, TRIAL, so that you have the opportunity to tip your toe into the Sister Sense Circle. It's my monthly mentorship and accountability community. Basically every week and every month I create opportunities for you to focus on your profit, your progress, your monetization, and your marketing. So if you would like to know if it's a good fit for you, again, definitely check it out and or let me know if you have any questions. Good morning, beautiful. Right back at you. Love it, love it, love it. I'll be sending a progress report for sure. Okay, good, Antoinette. I'm definitely going to look out for that. I definitely want to see that. Liana says, feeling very blessed to be in your community. Divine appointment. You know I needed to hear this. You are yelling at me. And love yells, right? I don't know how to say it, right? You know I needed to hear this. Thank you for the church this morning, right on time, right? I love it. I love it. That is what I am here to do, right? My assignment is to make sure that you stick to your divine assignment, okay? So we are wrapping up our Profit Progress Sister Sense Sunday Circle session for today. Yay! Let's dig into the next power session that I've created for you coming up next.